What's up, YouTube? We're back with another Magic the Gathering Commander video. So we're going to be going over one of these decks that I'm kind of excited for because the play groups I usually play with are doing bracket 3. So bracket 3 out of 5, the new ranking system for Commander. So bracket 3, you can only use 3 Game Changer cards from the list. That's always changing. So right now, as of today, 2025, September 1st, this is a bracket 3 deck. Could change, but yeah, we'll go over the deck real quick. I love Sonic. One of my first video games I ever played back on Sega Genesis for me. So I made this cool, there wasn't like a cool Sega looking deck box that I could find. So I made this Gamecube deck box, and I was able to find like a Sonic coin, and I changed the sizing to make it flush with the GameCube. So of course I made the colors Sonic Blue, and I think this coin turned out pretty cool. So yeah, save money there, making my own deck box, and I feel like it's pretty strong. But anyway, this isn't a review on the deck box. I'll put a link to the file of this if you want it. I think it was through Bamboo Lab, so I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure if you have to have a Bamboo printer to use that. Yeah, anyway. So let's go over this deck. I think the best way, let's leave it right there. We pull up my chair, and we'll go over this real quick. So this isn't like too competitive. It's just like kind of, it's still a strong deck, right? But I still wanted the deck to kind of just be more fun. So there's not really any infinite combos that I know of. It's just a straight up beat down deck. So we have Sonic the Hedgehog as our commander here. He has haste, a 2/4 for haste, red, blue and white, and 1 colorless, so 4 mana. So he has haste, and his ability is Gotta Go Fast. Whenever Sonic the Hedgehog attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with flash or haste. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. One more coming. Excuse me. Whenever a creature you control with flash or haste is dealt damage, create a tapped treasure token. So yeah, just from him attacking, he's getting value by putting a counter on each creature, and they all have flash or haste in this deck. And then if they do die, at least you get some value out of it by getting a treasure token. I wish they gave you more of these, but it's cool. These are from the Secret Lair, by the way, of course. Okay, so let's go over our creatures. Let's see here. And by the way, cost is not a issue for this deck. If you need to, I always support proxying because I'd rather have players to play against. All right, so first card, we have Aurelia, the Law Above. Flying, Vigilance, and Haste, 5 mana for 4. Whenever a creature attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. There's a lot of creatures in this deck, so that's probably going to trigger. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, still pretty likely to happen. She'll deal 3 damage to each of your opponents and you gain 3 life. Yeah, pretty good. Next we have Aurelia, the War Leader, Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. So this is 6 mana. But I think the ability is pretty good because when she attacks for the first time, untap all creatures, and after that combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. So always pretty good ability, I think. For flashers, we have Brazen Borrower. So you could cast it for 2 to just bounce a non-land permanent. It goes on an adventure, so you could cast it later at flash speed to just put it on the field. It's just like for 2 mana, you could bounce something, and then for 3 mana, you get a 3/1 with flash and flying. That will also trigger, help trigger the abilities on Sonic. We got Captain Lannery Storm. Love this card and this art. Even there's not really a creature on it; it's a coin. But 2/2 for haste. Whenever she attacks, create a treasure token, and whenever you sack a token, treasure token, Lannery Storm gets 1/0 until end of turn. So just from her attacking, she'll make a treasure token. If she takes damage, she'll make a treasure token. That's just pure value. We got Cavern Horde Dragon. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the number of artifacts an opponent controls. Flying Trample Haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. That's just value. A lot of these cards are just value. I mean, I don't know if I should just be talking about them one by one, but because they'll make it a long video, but we'll go through most of them. Charming Scoundrel for 2, haste. When he enters, choose 1. I always love options. Discard a card, draw, create another treasure token, or create a wicked roll token, whatever. But I like the recursion. Now, is that the word recursion or just value? So he enters, you can make a treasure token, you could attack right away, so they'll block him. He'll become a 2/2 with Sonic, and then if he's blocked, he gets another treasure token. So you really get those treasure tokens going. Devilish Valet, 1/3, Trample Haste. Whenever another creature enters the field, double his power until end of turn. So you could do this multiple times. What sucks is you can't, it's kind of hard to trigger this with Sonic's ability with this counter, because Sonic only puts a counter on him when he attacks, and you'll obviously be playing creatures in your main phase unless they have flash. So you could do some tricks. You could Devilish Valet, attack for 1. Or let's say you play Devilish Valet, I cannot say this word. Play another creature. He's now a 2. He's now a 2/3. You attack with Sonic. He's now a 3/3. And your opponent blocks something that's a 3. You could flash in something to pump it up again. Sorry, it actually doubles, so it's actually even better. So yeah, you could do some like little combat tricks with this guy. Enduring Curiosity, flash whenever creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Just more value. If he dies, when Enduring Curiosity dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under control. And now it's an enchantment, not a creature. It's not bad. So so you could flash this in, get some value, and if it dies, it still stays the effect. So that's pretty good. We have Aowen here, haste, 3/4. Enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls with greater power. Legendary creatures you control gain protection from each of that creature's colors until end of turn. It's just good value. Like all of these have good value. This is probably one of the few creatures that do not have haste, but I just love it. It's Esper Sentinel. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless they pay X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. If you see an opening like on an opponent that has no creatures, you could attack with this and Sonic. Actually, this would not be affected by Sonic, but still, it's a good card to have for just card draw. Fairy Mastermind, this is a classic card. 2/1 flash flying. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, everyone's gonna be drawing in Commander, so you get a draw with them. And then for 4 mana, each player draws a card. We have Feldin. He's a 2/2 with haste. Can't block, but when he's dealt damage, exile that many cards from top of your library, choose one of them, and until end of turn, you may play that card. Goldspan Dragon. This is just Value Town. 4/4 flying haste. When he attacks or becomes a target of a spell, create a treasure token. So we're just making treasure tokens like crazy. And also his ability lets you sack your treasure tokens for 2 manas. 2 mana. Herald of the Secret Streams. Creatures you control 1/1 counters on them can't be blocked. Pretty good, helps you get your boys in. We have Knuckles, also from the Secret Lair. Double Strike, Trample, Haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. So just more tokens. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 30 or more artifacts, you win the game. This is kind of funny. So if this ever happens, I'm making a short to show this. We got Crom with the Final Fantasy art here, flying haste. Just another good haster, and also whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. Partner doesn't matter. So just some good value. A lot of these cards are just good value. They all have haste. So yeah, they help pump our boys up and get us some treasure tokens. What sucks is that the treasure tokens enter tapped with Sonic, so that's the downside. Lae'zel, Baldur's Gate, one of my favorite characters. If you would put one or more counters on a creature you control or yourself, put that many +1 instead. Choose a background. Legion Loyalist, love this card. 1/1 haste. When he attacks and at least 2 other people are attacking creatures I control, get first strike and trample to end a turn and can't be blocked by creature tokens. So good evasion from chump blockers and gives your stuff first strike and trample. Not bad. A Loyal Apprentice, this is in a lot of my decks actually. 2/1 with haste, has Lieutenant. At the beginning of your combat your turn, if you control your commander, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact with flying. That is haste. Oh, that token gains haste till end of turn. Pretty good. We got Malcolm, Scoundrel. When Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel, deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 4 or more counters on him, you may cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. That's pretty good. I mean, there's like just good value, cheap cards to help trigger Sonic's second ability. But like I said, there's other ways to make this deck. You don't have to copy it verbatim. We have Mary with haste. He has first strike as long as it's equipped. Probably not gonna happen on that first part. But when you attack with Mary and another legendary creature, you draw a card. Just good card draw. We have Metastatic of Angel. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, proliferates. Proliferate's always good. Help get those counters up, make your guys nice and mean. We have Plume Creed Escort. Flash Flyer 2/1. When he enters, target creature gets hexproof. Just good protection and gets more creatures on the board. What sucks, this deck will fold to board wipes, so that'll be GG there. We got good old-fashioned OG Snapcaster Mage. Nothing really else to say about this. Helps you cast an insert sorcery in your graveyard with flashback and has flash. So it'll get recursion and it'll get you a treasure when he dies. And if he doesn't die, he'll just get nice and big. 3/3 Thundering Raiju for 4. Haste, of course, and when he attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Then Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control. I think that's pretty good. And then we got Surge Foil, Winged Tyrant, 5 mana, flying haste. His ability is other creatures you control with counters on them have flying and haste. So everything almost has haste, but the few cards that don't have haste will get haste. Man, those are yawn. We got Zurgo and Ojutai, also flying in haste, 4/4, 4/5. Zurgo and Ojutai have hexproof as it entered the battlefield this turn. Whenever 1 or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player or battle, which we do have quite a few dragons. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand and the rest in the bottom in any order. Return one of those dragons to its owner's hands. Yeah. And then we got Final Fantasy Ragavan. Here, nothing really to say. You could dash him for 2 mana. When he deals combat damage, create treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library. Till end of turn, you may cast that card. And then here is some tech. There actually is an infinite combo in this deck, and this is just to end the game in case it goes crazy. And if you lose one of the pieces, it's not the end of the world. You have ways to put counters on Ballista. If there's an open target, you could just keep attacking with Ballista and Sonic to keep putting counters on him. And then Heliod can just give your stuff more counters and also lifelink. But this is a combo. So what you can do is you can give Walking Ballista lifelink. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna remove a counter from Walking Ballista to shoot someone for 1 damage, which will cause him to gain another counter. So you take 1 counter off, you shoot someone for 1, he gains a counter. So that's infinite pings. So you could wipe the board and you could kill all your opponents if they cannot interact with these 2 cards. And then here's another combo I totally forgot I put in here because it's just funny. It's a classic Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker combo. So you play Kiki Jiki, his ability, he has haste. His ability is he makes a token of a target non-legendary creature and it gains haste, and then you sack it at the end of the turn. But what you do is you play Kiki Jiki, you ask them any responses, no. So then next card, you'll play Zealous Conscripts. Zealous Conscripts or Coercive Recruiter, they're pretty much the same effect. You're gonna play one of these two, and if there's no response, then it's your turn to hold priority, I guess. So you'll activate Kiki Jiki, targeting Zealous, What you're gonna do is, you play Zealous Conscripts. Any response? No. He's gonna enter the battlefield. I'm gonna target Kiki Jiki with Zealous Conscripts. And then I'm gonna hold priority and tap Kiki Jiki to make a copy of Zealous Conscripts, which will enter the battlefield, and when it enters, it'll untap Kiki Jiki. And then you're just gonna do that infinitely and have infinite 3/3s with haste. And then you can just kill everyone. Same thing with Coercive Recruiter. So it's just a funny thing. And if they kill Kiki Jiki, you could still just win the other ways. Or Zealous Conscripts, you could always just take their commander and do crazy stuff with it. So yeah, that's it for creatures. We'll go over our sorceries and instants. So sorceries, we got Damning Verdict. Destroy all creatures with no counters on them. It's a very one-sided, so it helps you out. Same thing with Wave Goodbye. Return each creature. It's like a Cyclonic Rift that doesn't affect you. Well, Cyclonic Rift doesn't affect you anyway, but it's a cheaper Cyclonic Rift. Return each creature without a 1/1 counter to its owner's hands. And then we have, of course, the classic. We have Wheel of Fortune. Each player discards their hand, draws 7 cards. And we have Windfall, the poor man's Wheel of Fortune. And that's it for sorcery speed cards. Instant speed. We'll go over this. We got quite a few here. And of course, like I said, you could always change this. This is just what I chose. We have a Chroma's Will. If you control your commander, you may choose both. Creatures gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn, or creatures get lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until end of turn. So, pretty good. We have an Offer You Can't Refuse, just a classic counter spell everyone runs. Here's our first game changer card. We got Deflecting SWAT, change targets for target spell or ability. We have Flawless Maneuver. This is not game changer yet. Same thing, if you control your commander, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. Creatures get indestructible. We're running Path to Exile as a spot removal. Swan Song is a classic counterspell also for non-creature, counter target enchantment, instant, or sorceries. And then you give your opponent a bird token. Spell Pierce. If you could tell, I like running a lot of cheap counters. Even though it's a creature-based deck, you need some kind of interaction, I guess you should say. Sword to Plowshares is more spot removal. This is just classic 1 mana spot removal here. And then our second game changer card, we got Teferi's Protection to protect your board state. And then I'm running Generous Gift. Destroys a permanent and you give your opponent a 3/3. There's probably better cards than this, but this came in the Secret Lair and it's on flavor, so we're gonna run it. And then we got Mana Drain. This is also not a game changer. So my two mana counter spells that just counter anything, classic counter spell, and we got Mana Drain. So that's it for the instance. We'll go over the artifacts real quick. So for artifacts, we got Soul Ring, the Sonic one that came in the Secret Lair. That art is so sick, but so dark, I can't see anything. We're gonna run Knuckles Gloves because it was also in the Secret Lair, so why not? Reaver Cleaver, one of the few artifacts you can equip in this deck. If you don't know what Reaver Cleaver does, this is kind of a good card. I think doesn't really fit in this deck because this is not a Voltron or equipment-based deck, but it's flavor, so I'll run it. And it's not bad. There's worse cards you could play. Equipped creature gets +1/1, has trample, and when it deals combat damage to a planeswalker or player, create that many treasure tokens. So At least it kind of helps out with your treasure theme. We have Super State, which also came in the secret layer. I don't think the other deck lists will run this, but I'm running it. Enchanted creature has base power 9/9, flying, first strike, trample, and haste. When it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much to each other opponent. I think that's pretty good. Let's throw that on Sonic. And our last game changer card, we're running Ristic Study. I love this art on this card, so this also makes you a bad player because it just gets you free cards, and it also targets you, as everyone wants to kill you. Now we're gonna go over land, and you're gonna laugh because we're not saving money here. One of your first things, if you're playing Magic, if you really want to make this your main hobby or only hobby, I would invest in fetch lands and dual lands. So you could use that in all your decks. We have the classic trio. I like running this, even though, this is a bracket 3 deck. It doesn't have to be super, like, cut, like, trimmed. I don't know what the word is. Like, super top of the line. I always like fetching. I like running fetch lands, and I always fetch this turn 1. And I just say, all right, I'm gonna play this fetch land, and if it's okay with you, if you guys aren't gonna destroy my land, I'm gonna fetch now to save time. I'm gonna grab a trio, and usually almost every time actually, the people have said, okay, so that's fine. We're running 3 dual lands. Buy these if you don't have them. There's nothing else to say. These are must-haves in any deck. We're running all 3 of the shock lands, Sacred Foundry, Steam Vents, and Hollowed Fountain. And then we're running as many fetch lands as we can that we had spare. A Darker Waste, just because I like this old school retro art. Command Tower came in the secret layer, which I pulled a bunch of. Exotic Orchard. These are all just there's nothing really to go over. These are just classic lands. I'm running Fiery Islet. You probably don't have to run this. You can run anything else. Flood Farm Verge, because I had it. And then we just have basic islands of my favorite art. I'm running this, though this might be something different. I like running Maze of Ith, because if someone's going Voltron or just throwing fat creatures at you, you just Maze of Ith it every time. It's kind of hard to get rid of. Minas Tirith for some card draw. Mountains, also my favorite land. I used to run all my basic mountains as this for my modern deck when I was like into modern. Otawara, Soaring City. This is also another classic card. If you don't need land, you draw it. It's kind of just like a crappy spell, but it's a free spell in case you don't need the land anymore. Plains, another dual land that I had extra of, I just threw in here. Sea of Clouds, Spectator Seating, and Sun Billow Verge. These are also staples for Commander 4-player. So I would always run this cycle in your deck. City of Brass as well. You should always have City of Brass available for your Commander decks. And then, that's it. Wait a minute. Yep. There we go. This is the cycle for the Commander deck. I don't even know what they called it, like what they call this cycle, but pretty much if you have more than one opponent, they enter untapped. So only downside is you can't fetch for them. So they're kind of like pseudo dual lands. What else? Did we go over our artifacts? I don't think we did. I think we skipped it. But yes, so we have Soul Ring, we have Arcane Signet, we have Swiftfoot Boots, Felwar Stone for mana ramp, Lightning Greaves. These are just staple commander cards, and they're Sonic themed, so why not? Sword of the Animus to help you mana ramp, and then more mana ramp. And I love these Fallout cards. I love Fallout, so yeah, that's my Sonic Commander deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below. Should I have just made this a super sweaty bracket 4 deck? I feel like I'd rather just have fun playing this deck, so this could be my bracket 3 deck, because I have other stronger decks in bracket 4 at 4 and 5, so if I want to get sweaty, I have those decks to play. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.